as I've been sitting in media for past so many years, and I've been looking into the lot of issues and speaking it on a very sensitive way, and it has really touched us. Today, when I will be speaking on deterrent laws, it is about how India feels that their laws, the existing laws, are deterrent in nature or not. And I know the larger crowd, every time we keep on talking about is the laws of India are not deterrent in nature. That is why we see a lot of heinous crimes, and which has led the convicts to get away with it. Now, what is the problem that we are facing? The problem we are facing is criminal psychologist in India is rare. I was, and I am, one of its kind out here. So I started as a pioneer out here. Now, when we talk about criminal psychologist, it's basically outside India, it's called as criminological psychologist. What is their job? What is their job? The job is that they read minds. They take interviews of the inmates in the prison, those who are on the death row, or they even talk to the criminals to understand why, what, how made them do that crime which they are actually in the prison for. Now, what is the problem in India? Like you are a vegetarian and I give you a non-vegetarian dish to eat. Would you eat? You will not, because that's not you. That's not been made for you. So what happened is, this is what happens in India when the law was being made, or when the law is being made in the legislative body. There is no criminal psychologist, gynecologist, any psychological on the front, which they should be talking, or they give their suggestions to make the law deterrent for that criminal, so that we look into reformation, restorative justice, which is not on board. We are not talking about victimology. We're not talking about the personalities. We're not talking about what they are made up of. How can you make a law which is deterrent without talking to the person who has done it, or to the horse mouth? So what is lacking in India? Why we keep on shouting that the law should be deterrent? It is not deterrent. After Nirbhaya, this has happened. The law is not deterrent. The law can be deterrent only when we will be talking to them. So what it is that we should be given an access. A criminal psychologist, a criminologist, they should be given an access so that when we talk to them, we can understand why the crime was being committed. What was the psyche of the criminal at that time? Was it provocation? Because you know what the lawyer, I'm a lawyer too. So lawyers, they play their own game. The truth never comes out. As we see in Pradyuman case also, in Arushi case, we see in Sunanda Pushkar case, we are all boshed up. It's all about the game of policing and CBI. But where is it? Where is the truth? It's your truth, is his truth, and there is a truth. So who is look into the truth? So when we are really looking into the facts and figures, we do not understand what led them. They are made up of personalities, we all are. And when we talk about this, a brief introduction to the personalities with which we are made up of. Narcissist personality, it's all about yourself. Me, me, me. It's about me. Second is an emotionally unstable personality. When we talk about the manic and a depressive, we call it as a borderline personalities. Then we talk about a paranoid personality. They usually come up with psychopaths, sociopaths, the ones who are really clinging on to you. The psychopaths, so we call them paranoid, the one who are mental, they keep on talking about it. So this is the word they use. And then we talk about those people who are rapists, serial killers, we call them predators. We call them predators because they prey. So you can very well understand an habitual offender is coming from which personality, and our first-time offender is coming from which personality. Thanks to the environment, thanks to the nurture in nature, which brings that personality to that board, and psychological disorder led to various crimes. So it is not only this, that a personality or an environment, it is the state. The state also sometimes makes you a criminal. What it is that we are lacking on is that we don't understand the vicious circle. You are a victim to a crime. You become an offender. And from there you are a victim again. Because when you go back to prison, you are further victimized. So there is a secondary victimization. So when we understand, when we go in prisons, we talk to the inmates, we talk to the criminals, we talk to the offenders, or when we talk to the accused. Apart from this, we understand, have they really done the crime or not? Have they really done it? What is it that should be done? We just have it. In outside India, there are rehabs, there are proper homes, foster homes, juvenile homes. But in India, they're not functioning. You all know that. In NGOs, they're not able to function it properly. So where should we look into reformation? What we are sending back in the society is a reform. Do you think in prison there is a reformation going on? No. Even if they say the prison has been reformed, prison reform has been done, but there is no reformation. Why? Because still we feel that when a person who has not committed a crime, but he is an accused, and he is even convicted after that, when he comes out, he's not been accepted. He's not been accepted. And then we talk about, because either he's on a parole, he comes in and do the crime again, because you never understood the psyche of that person, because you never had a talk with that person. It is basically the police or a CBI would talk, and the language they would use, and the questions they would ask would not be the same questions which should be asked to the criminal, or should be asked to the person who is guilty or not guilty, from the psychological, victimological, and criminological perspective. Who would ask? There is no one. Because we have not framed our law accordingly to it. We are growing, we're developing. But for how long? How long we'll keep on growing, and how long we'll keep on developing ourselves? So this is where the problem which is coming. Whenever somebody would question you, is your law deterrent? Tell them, it cannot be deterrent until and unless you do not listen to them, you don't understand them. They have to tell, they give a story, they give their audience, and I'm telling you, the criminals are the one who will help you in finding and understanding the other criminals. It is not you and me. We have, if you want to go ahead a criminal mind, understand a criminal mind from the criminal perspective. When they have committed a crime, we have to understand from that perspective. If you are not, we are lacking, and the lacunas are there. The ecosystem is behind. The state does not want to do anything. So in this specific talk, this is what I wanted to put it forward. India can only have a deterrent laws when it looks, it talks, and understand the crime, which is a situational crime, organized crime, territorial crimes, and when we talk about the jurisdiction crime. What makes them what they are? From psychological perspective, with personalities, with nature, with nurture. And if we really want our society to understand, make the society look into the facts. What is it that we are growing up? What is it that we are sending in the society? Once, twice, thrice, what we are doing, because there is no understanding of victims. We're not understanding, we only understand that it is a judge-centric law, it's an offender-centric law, but when we talk about victims, because somewhere down the lane, if we see ISIS, how did it all started? They started as victims. And then the people started funding it. So what is happening in Kashmir? The child who's born is with a gun. What you're looking into, the child just sees. So if somebody coming from that perspective, from that background, can you tell that that person is a criminal? I'm sorry. So we are actually lacking the understanding of this very fact. So once we start understanding criminology from the wider perspective, when we talk, we questionnaire them, when we go and talk to them, the government has to allow us. Let the criminological background sit with the criminals to understand their perspective. Thank you so much.